When I realized that Halloween was on a Wednesday this year, I figured it was as good a time as any to talk about some of the scariest Halloween storms to affect the United States. Little did I realize that the one at the top of the list would not be a conventional storm at all. Instead, it was a storm from space, more accurately, a series of strong solar storms dubbed the Halloween space weather storms of 2003, disrupting communications and turning skies eerie colors on Earth on Halloween 15 years ago today. That year, 3 intense and unusually large sunspot groups appeared on the sun's surface by October 26th, the largest more than 13 Earths in diameter. These darker, cooler areas on the sun form over regions of intense magnetic activity. 17 major solar flares, intense bursts of radiation, accompanied these sunspots. One very large flare directed right at Earth. Soon after, a coronal mass ejection, a fast-moving burst of gas from the sun's outer atmosphere, a large mass of electrically charged particles shot into space towards Earth. Less than a day later, this highly energetic solar wind reached Earth and a multi-day disruption of the planet's magnetic field began, a so-called geomagnetic storm, concentrated near the poles, but with worldwide implications. NOAA's Space Environment Center, now the Space Weather Prediction Center, issued many advisories and warnings to alert the public. Now, Earth's atmosphere protects us surface dwellers from the particles and radiation from solar flares, but technological systems, satellites, GPS, radio communication, are vulnerable. During the 2003 Halloween storms, major radio disruptions occurred. Scientists in Antarctica had a communications blackout for more than 5 days. And companies that need highly accurate GPS for surveying and drilling, for example, had to delay or cancel. There were daily issues for flights between Asia and North America over the North Pole, with some airlines adjusting their routes to avoid the high radiation level. The solar storms affected more than half of Earth-orbiting satellites and even some deep space missions. A Japanese scientific satellite was damaged beyond repair, and a radiation experiment on NASA's Mars Odyssey spacecraft, which was orbiting Mars at the time, was destroyed. At the peak of the solar storm, astronauts on the International Space Station had to move to sheltered parts of the ship to avoid excessive levels of radiation. Now, the Halloween space weather storms of 2003 did provide some treats in the form of widespread sightings of the northern lights, unusually far south, even in the middle and low latitudes, with aurora sightings from California to Pennsylvania, from Texas to Florida, lighting up the skies in multiple colors on Halloween night. So today we close the door on October, which temperature-wise was 1 part September, 1 part November. Marissa will tell us next in the extended forecast what month the first week of November will feel like.